Topic number 2 on Government Secrets, episode 3.
Can we just have a button that does that? Do you have to?
Yeah, that's the button. Just tell me when you want me to do it, and I'll just hit
Topic number 4. By the way, if anyone likes this podcast, you think it's good, and you want to see it keep going, do not tell anyone about it. All right, it's a secret.
It is that we want this podcast.
And I'm Graham. I hope no one can hear this. I'm trying the reverse psychology. I'm hoping it'll work.
It's good, buddy. You're using some CIA shit, like whatever you do,
from the CIA.
Don't promote this. Whatever you do, don't promote this. Unmarked vans are good, or whatever.
That's I do the same thing when I'm in bed. I'm like, I am terrible right now. I'm doing a terrible job. This is not good for you. It works like a charm.
You hate this. You're sick of my body, right? Chicks dig that.
What's that smell? So back to coronavirus, and we're having a bit of an issue with it in this country. Over 100,000 dead, and we're setting records. So at least we got America #1 going in that regard.
Yeah, now we're talking. Attaboy.
For the number of people coming down with coronavirus, and I wrote a column about this. It's also going to be on Redacted tonight. That airs tonight. But it's about the drug that they've been, touting as the miracle drug, Remdesivir. Now, the not so new story is that Gilead, the big pharma company that owns Remdesivir, is profiteering from it. They announced they were going to charge $3,000 for a treatment. $3,000 to get a 5-day treatment of Remdesivir. But beyond that, here's the government secret part of it. That part's not really a secret. It came out a couple of weeks ago. People were furious that it's going to cost that much. But here's the government secret portion of this. We created Remdesivir, you and me. Okay, we spent over $70 million in government grants. The testing was done by federal scientists. On every level, trials and things, this was created by you and me. And now I don't even know how the system works, but Gilead owns it, and they charge us $3,000, and they tell us we're getting off easy. They're like, "Oh, that's a fucking low price. We're hardly charging anything to save your life," and it's horseshit. This should cost almost nothing. But here's government secret number 2 of this: is that there are more powerful, and none of these are a silver bullet. These are just treatments. They help people get better a little quicker. But there is a more powerful 3-drug cocktail, and I'm not going to say the names because I can't even pronounce them, but it works better, according to the trials they've done, than Remdesivir, but no one's talking about it. It gets almost no coverage. This is according to both The Intercept and LA Times. It's getting almost no coverage because it's 3 generic drugs that are patent-free, so they cost almost nothing, so Big Pharma doesn't make billions.
Oh, first of all, 3-drug cocktail. I saw them at Coachella 2 years ago. Fantastic. They were fantastic.
See, I need a 3-drug cocktail to enjoy Coachella, so it's a little different for me.
But this is, in the one hand, it's shocking, but on the other hand, it isn't. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies are out of control. And this is just. They got first of all, the drug should be free or nothing. Like you said, taxpayer money was $70 million in taxpayer money paid for this research, right? So that's our money. And so it should be next to nothing, or $5 or something. It should be like under $20 at most, if not full on free. I know if it's completely free, it's harder for Nancy Pelosi to buy a 4th ice cream fridge, and that's an issue we really need to take into consideration. But it just shows you, like, part of me, it goes when I read the story, and I think I talked about it on Political Vigilante. I was like, I'm not mad in a sense that I'm like, you know what? let's just keep doing this, guys, because people are going to be like, so now that COVID is spiking, all these red states and states, red and blue, that opened too soon, California opened too soon, we're all closing back down. The numbers are spiking. We're predicted to have anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000 deaths. We thought we were going to level off about 100,000. No. We're number one, as you said, USA. And part of me is like, all right, you know what? Charge everybody $3,000 and make the generic ones unavailable. Let's charge everybody $3,000 because you know what? That's what it's going to take. Maybe that's when the like red state, Second Amendment, people will finally realize they're getting screwed too. That all the 99, we're all getting screwed. The corporate media is pushing a race war so hard because they don't want people united. I'm not trying to downplay the severe racism that's in this country, and there's white nationalists, there's scary shit happening, there's black men being lynched. I'm not trying to downplay that, but the corporate media is so constantly talking about there's race issues and race problems, like it's black versus white, which is not the case, as we've talked about. At every protest I've been at, since George Floyd was murdered, it's been everybody. And in white areas, it's mostly white people protesting for this. I've talked to black friends of mine, like, I've never seen this many white people at a Black Lives Matter protest in my life. And so the ruling class is like, oh shit, they're uniting. We got to divide them. We got to divide them and distract them, because that's the thing. Like, if America, when they're charged $3,000 for this thing, like, hey guys, we can open everything back up. Here's a treatment so you won't die. Anybody that has severe symptoms, instead of being hooked up to a respirator, whatever, take this medication. You might be laid up at home for a week or two, but you'll be fine afterwards. But oh, by the way, it's $3,000. Yes, we told you can't work for 4 months. Yes, you're behind on your rent. Yes, insurance is not free. Yes, you have student loan debt, and we're going to throw $3,000 on top of it. And oh, by the way, we just stopped your unemployment. I'm like, okay, guess the ruling class is so arrogant and pompous.
And that's in a way, that's for the lucky people that get to pay the $3,000 to have any kind of treatment for COVID-19. I mean, a lot of the poorer people, and these are often people of color, it's just like they don't get any treatment for COVID-19. It's just like, oh, you're going to die. So, because they're at the most understaffed hospitals, the hospitals that are most financially strapped. And that's part of why you're seeing that people of color, poorer people, are more likely to die from this right now, because we now live in a world where the rich have a completely different society. They have better hospitals, better doctors. They can get to better hospitals if they need to take a fucking helicopter. They can get out of the way of climate change. If their neighborhood is on fire or is flooding, they go to their other house or their other house or their other house or, oh yeah, that other house. So we're increasingly living in completely different worlds.
Yeah, and it's they're so tone deaf and out of touch. I mean, like, Betsy DeVos has 10 yachts. Like, the Secretary of Education having one yacht is offensive. She's 10 times as offensive as a one yacht having Secretary of Education. Like, and they have no.
I think I told you before that it's a sign of your wealth. For wealthy people, you really only look wealthy to the other wealthy people if you have single-use yachts.
Yeah, well, we've talked about that before. We need more single-use yachts. I mean, using a yacht more than once is offensive to me. It's just. I
mean, it's garish.
It is garish, and you're just a garbage person if you're going to use the same yacht twice. I mean, literally, you are.
That's why you see those piles of yachts that have just been disposed of, just out on the beach, where they're like, ugh, gross. Why would you?
They're just floating in the ocean like candy wrappers, which is what's so great.
And then when the last 3 humans are left, they're like, I wonder what we did wrong. Maybe it was the piles of yachts. Maybe we should have used maybe we should have used the yacht twice.
There's the pile. I wonder what we did wrong. I mean, this is just, I'm sure so they're so out of touch. Like, so recently at one of and I believe he owns 4 homes. Jeff Bezos. He bought a $150 million home in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but hold on. You're using the word home very euphemistically. All right. He owns 4 small cities he calls homes.
Yes. He has rooms he's never going to go in that are bigger than both of our apartments combined. And you and I, we live like rats. But I mean, he has so much money. He has a $75 million.
The one in California has a 9-hole golf course, a tennis court. Like it really is like a small town. I mean, and if you chose to let people live there, you could house a small town's worth of people.
That property, that home with all that land, literally, that piece of property could end homelessness in Los Angeles. Like, end it.
Oh, yeah.
Just, it's unbelievable. And so outside of his place in DC, which is some like block long, walk up or whatever, they started hanging guillotines. Some people put guillotines out front, which I think is just fantastic. And
Nice.
But I'm sure he's just like, why is everyone mad at me? I gave you Amazon. You can order anything you want. What have I done wrong? Like, I'm sure they're just like, these people are so out of control. And it's like, you remember when you read about Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake? You said, God, how do you get that out of touch? Oh, it's pretty easy. Just start making billions of dollars and you'll be that out of touch. I mean, they've done studies that these people like become desensitized psychos or something when they start making that money. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, they've done studies that wealthy people are, far less likely to help out others. They're less likely to give a certain percentage to charity. They're more likely to break traffic laws. And it's tough to tell, I think, in the studies whether it creates that in them after they have the wealth. Like having the wealth creates that, unempathetic type of personality, or whether they got the wealth because they behave that way. I think a lot of it has to do with the latter, because it's like Bezos's brilliance, if you want to call it that, which I wouldn't, is that he realized that in shipping things to people, you can't make the trucks drive any faster because they'll get speeding tickets. But he wanted to get his stuff to people faster than any other service. And so he realized that the thing you can make go faster is human beings. You can make them run around the warehouse faster than they've ever gone before and make them collapse. Some, 1 or 2 have died on the warehouse floor. Others have passed out. And, you can make them go to the breaking point. And so that was his genius idea, was we're not really breaking these human beings to get shit to people faster. And it obviously made him the most wealthy man in the world.
I agree. I think it is the latter. I think there's one thing to be like, I want to work hard and be successful. And then there's another thing of like, I'll do whatever it takes. I don't care whatever it takes. It's like in show business, like, you and I both wanted to be successful when we got in. If you would talk to us as young comedians, I'd like to get my own sitcom or do movies or whatever. But that just like, I'll drink virgin's blood to get there. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm in. Like, no, we're not willing to do that. Like,
and you see it again and again, like the people that succeed the most in a lot of these industries are willing to just, treat others like shit and step on others. And those who aren't willing to do that get, you'll find a kind of glass ceiling where you're going to be the one being stepped on. It's kind of inevitable. Like,
you have to be just soulless and heartless to get that kind of success. So anyone that makes that much money had that in them. They had that, like, just, I'll do whatever it takes. And like, that's a difference between the person that sort of inherited it and just sort of coasted, and they're maybe insensitive and don't care, and that was just the way they were raised, I think is different than the just like, in any era, Bezos would have been like, whatever. I mean, set the slaves on fire that can't build the pyramids fast enough. I don't give a shit. Like, he would have just been like anybody like that. That's what I think. I think they're all just, they were born evil. Like,
I mean, he would have looked like Lex Luthor no matter what era it happened. Like he would have looked like a supervillain
because
no
he
matter
is
when
one.
it was.
Yes, he's always been a supervillain. That's who he always was going to be. Like, had Hitler been born today, he would be running Amazon. Like, whatever.
You got to
Like,
figure that like a little kid Bezos was reading comic books and saw Lex Luthor and was like, that guy kind of has it made.
yeah.
Like every other kid is like, I want to be Superman. He's like, wait, who's this? Who's this bald creepazoid over in the corner? He seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
He's got a nice jacket on.
Exactly. Like when Jeffrey Dahmer was like having, setting roadkill on fire as a child or whatever. Jeff Bezos was like, I want to be Lex Luthor. Like, how come you don't want to be the good guy? I want to be like, I'm sure when like Return of the Jedi came out, he was like, oh, Emperor Palpatine. I'm buying that doll immediately. Just like, I can't wait.
You kind of figure that Jeff Bezos as a kid was just upset he wasn't bald yet.
Yeah, he probably came home one day and just shaved his head. And they were like,
I just have to
Jeffrey,
get there. Yeah.
what are you doing? I need to become a supervillain. Jeffrey, don't you want to be a cowboy for Halloween? No, they're not evil. Like, Jeffrey. Like, that's who he was. Everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.